want to thank all of you for joining us for this emergency briefing, and there are still people that are joining us, so we'll give it one more moment, but it's a special thanks, not just to our supporters, our board members, and people from all over the world that are with us right now, but a special thanks to Zohar Palti, who is our strategic advisor, former head of intelligence and counterterrorism in the Mossad, and of course was a senior in the defense ministry before he retired, and does various things, and we're privileged to have him work with ELNET. It's critical to hear his voice in Europe with policymakers, but especially tonight. It's 11 o'clock at night in Israel. It's in between the missile landings in Israel. Zohar right now is in a TV studio without discussing his location too much, but it's incredible, Zohar, that you're with us. We're very, very grateful to you. So let's begin where we are, where you think we're going, and what's at stake. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, all of you. Shabbat Shalom from Tel Aviv. We're in a defining moment, and we started a war with the Iranians last night. We decided that enough is enough. After the attacks in April 24 of 300 ballistic missiles, UAVs, and cruise missiles without no reason, and later on in October, with all the ring of fire that Iran created in the last 20 years, more than 150,000 rockets from Lebanon, from Syria, from Yemen, October 7, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, and they've done some troubling and serious moves in their nuclear program in the last months, and declared on and on that they want to eliminate the states of Israel. It came to the point that the government took a decision last night to deal with the Iranian nuclear facilities, and we're starting this campaign. As I said, defining moment. We are not in euphoria. We are very realistic. Iran is a big country, serious adversary, serious enemy. And although it was shocking and it's looked like very promising and effective starting move by us, it's going to be a long one. We understand it. It started yesterday with an attack, combined attack of all the security services of Israel, leading by the Air Force, who gave them the intelligence, of course, is the military intelligence and Mossad operations. Dozens and hundreds of aircraft cross 1,600 kilometers all the way to Iran. We took down all the remain of the air defense of Iran. Iran right now is completely exposed. We can fly over Iran without big or serious challenges right now. Very similar to what we are doing all over the Middle East, if needed, like Lebanon or like Gaza or like Syria. Dozens of waves of attacks of all the nuclear facilities. We took down most of the, in Iran, there is two entities of army. One is the regular army that have Air Force and things like that, and the other army is the RGC one. We took down the chief of staff of the army, Bakari. He was the chief of staff of the Iran in the last 10 years, very experienced guy. Commander of the Air Force, commander of the Navy, commander of the Air Force of the RGC. Very bad guy by the name of Hajizadeh. This guy was responsible about the upkick attack against the Saudis in September 14, 2019, when the Iranian took down 50% of the oil production of the Saudis. This guy was really mean guy that tried to kill a lot of Americans and coalition forces in Iraq and in Afghanistan in the last decade. All in all, like 20 generals and leaders, many, let's say, people that used to deal with the Iranian nuclear program also took a hit. kind of a shock and awe for the Iranians. It took some time for them to understand what exactly is going on. And in the last 2 hours, they started to retaliate. There've been a lot of ballistic. The first wave was like 100 UAVs. We and the Americans basically took down all the 100 UAVs in the air. Not even one penetrate the border of Israel. But in the last 2 hours, there is a major attack against the city of Tel Aviv. More than 100 ballistic missiles launched by the Iranians as retaliation. And we have some casualties over here. Some building took a direct hit in Tel Aviv. It's not pleasant, of course, even devastating, but we knew that there will be, and it's only the beginning. We understand it's going to take some time. We hit launchers, ballistic launchers. We hit all the air defense systems, and from the nuclear facilities, Natanz, that is one of the biggest enrichment sites of the Iranians, is probably not functioning anymore. Isfahan as well. Factories of manufacturing, centrifuges, and other facilities that related to the Iranian nuclear program. We don't know to assess yet. It will take some time to understand what kind of achievement regarding the the Iranian nuclear program we hit, but no doubt that it was inspirational to see dozens of Mossad agents are working with the drones inside Iran, and let's say tactical missiles that used to spread all over the Iranian bases, mainly the missiles sites, and with remote control, we took a lot of them down. As I said before, we understand it's potentially going to be a long one. Till now, we didn't touch the Iranian leadership, the civilian one. Till now, we didn't attack any major energy or civilian facilities. We can fly right now, as I said, all over Iran without any interruption. If the Iranian will continue, the cabinet right now is about to gather in the next hour, and the decision will have to be whether we are increasing our attacks regarding the leadership of Iran and regarding economical side like oil facilities, gas facilities, electricities, and things like that. America, as you know, you saw it, the Americans, like always, are with us, with defense. President Trump, probably you heard in the media, I'm not going to repeat whatever he said, but no doubt that right now it's a defining moment also mainly for the Americans and the Europeans. We can take this issue as an opportunity to change the Middle East to something different after 40, 50 years that the Iranians are running this program. It seems to me that we have a chance right now that if we are closing this issue in the next couple of days, to get the situation that, as President Trump said, he's still willing to give them a deal. I don't know what will be the position of the government, my government over here, but probably if there will be a deal that they are not dealing anymore with nuclear, it seems to me that maybe we have a potential. Otherwise, I'm not ruling out that we'll go and we'll continue, and this regime will have to decide whether they jeopardize their existence or they want to stop and to find kind of a political solution. So important that the EU, that so far have been, let's say, not supportive. I mean, not by applauding or something, but they understand that this is kind of defense of the Jewish states after the Holocaust, that we can't live with a threat of nuclear. We said it in the last 40 years, it's happened. It's the same issue like we've done in 81 with Menachem Begin in Iraq. It's the same thing that we've done in 2007 with Prime Minister Ulmert in Syria and the Syrian reactor. We said always that if there will come the moment that we'll have to deal with Iranian nuclear, if there are not going to be an agreement or something solid, we will deal with that. And we've done it. I think, as I said before, that there is a potential because Lebanon is not the same Lebanon that used to be in the 40 years. Hezbollah is much weaker after what we've done to them last September. Syria is no longer with Bashar. Now, the Iranian issue, I just analyze it. Guys, I'm telling you, we can take this issue also to a positive trajectory and not necessarily. The issue is whether countries, serious countries like the E3 and the Americans will seize the moment and will try to shape something more solid for the next couple of generations. This operation is not something that came out of the sleeves, as you understand. It's not because it used to be a political crisis a couple of days ago, whether this government is falling or not. It's not something that we took a decision to run it. There is investments of almost 20 years in operations, how to penetrate to the Iranians' leadership, to the Iranian surface-to-surface missiles, to the Iranian nuclear facilities. And mainly in the last year, when we understood that eventually, after October 7 and after the two attacks that the Iranians have done against the states of Israel, we will have to deal with that. I think basically this is it. We don't know what to anticipate for the rest of this night. Probably the Iranian will have to also to calculate whether they want to continue to launch against the states of Israel right now, or whether they want to drop every few hours, a couple of them or something like that. They have to decide what they want to do. The leader have to take a decision, as I said before, his regime or instability of the Iran. The other issue that many people that he used to consult with them are no longer with him. And it seems to me it's a good time to try to engage the Iranian and to see whether they want to settle with this round for a couple of days. Maybe we can succeed over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Zohar. I again want to thank you for joining us so late on a Friday night in Israel. And I think you were up all night Thursday with this as well. So somehow you're holding in there. I appreciate it. I want to ask you a few questions and then we'll go to some of the audience questions with your permission. The first is on the nuclear sites and especially places like Fordo that are deep underground. Can Israel do this on its own? Does it need the United States? What are the prospects of the United States joining this? Can Israel stop before it actually takes out whatever is deep underground? How do you see that part of the problem?
So this question was relevant, I think more relevant, I will say, till yesterday. Right now we're after it. It's not so important whether we know how to penetrate Fordo or not. We've done it, meaning we've done the operation. Now the issue, the biggest site and the most impressive site was Natanz. Natanz, based on our understanding, Natanz is in a couple of layers. We used to train about this issue for many, many years, probably heavily destroyed or are not effective anymore. We'll have to see and to wait for the other facilities to wait and see what we call BDA, damage assessment after we attack. It will take a couple of days, a couple of reports, a couple of satellites, a couple of inspectors of the AI that will have to judge what happened over there. No doubt that this is so important, but I think it's too soon to evaluate. And again, with our capabilities right now, we have the ability to go again and again to Iran. The road is free, meaning it's open. So if needed, we will go again.
And do you think that Israel's strategy, at least at this point, is to stop and enable the negotiations to take place under the United States with more leverage vis-a-vis Iran? Or is Israel's strategy, or maybe together with the United States, to go all the way to regime change? And I'm saying this because we have several questions on this from our audience already. all about the strategy and the extent of the damage to the nuclear installations.
Based on my experience in the last 40 years, I saw all the operation that the European used to do in some wars. I saw the Americans in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in other places. It's nice to ask the question, what the strategy? I'm not sure that countries right now know exactly what the strategy is. The strategy over here, I'm speaking right now, was basically to take and to reduce the level of threat from the Iranians regarding the nuclear program and the surface-to-surface missiles program. This is the main strategy over here. Now we'll start to see whether there is a strategy how to go out and how to conclude and to wrap it up with a political political solution. Whether we have the ability or not, let's wait and see. It's too soon. It's only 14 hours.
Zohar, we have a question about the ballistic missile program. What is the estimates about how much is left? And does Iran have the ability to do this over time, or are they also limited in terms of their capabilities at this point, to your assessment?
The Iranian, if I remember correctly, it's the fourth or the fifth superpower for surface-to-surface missiles in the world, after the Americans, the Russian, the Chinese, and North Korea, and maybe I forget one country or something like that. But they are in the Ivy Leagues of, sadly I'm saying it, of the surface-to-surface. They came ready to this issue. They have a lot. We destroy a lot of launchers. We destroy a lot of missiles, but still they have impressive capabilities of, I don't want to give the exact number, but it's a lot of hundreds and more than a lot of hundreds of missiles that they have the ability to launch against the states of Israel. And of course, if they choose to, against American interest in the Gulf, Iraq, Syria, whatever.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the allies and the alliance. So there are reports that the UK and France are active in the region together with the Americans. I don't know to what extent. They were certainly active last April and even somewhat in October last year in the previous rounds. How do you see the situation now? We are seeing, just for our donors and supporters to know, both France, certainly Germany, that came out very strongly today in defense of Israel's right to defend itself and so on, and the French and other countries in Europe. Do you see the alliance standing the way it did last year? Do you see changes there? And is it necessary?
So it's not really alliance. It's nice that they support us, and what the nice words that mainly Germany and of course some other countries, and the fact that the French took down the initiative to support or to declare a two-state solution or something like that, this is not something that really on the cards those days. But it's kind of a friendship of free countries that understand that the Jewish states need security after 77 years. And basically, who is fighting shoulder to shoulder with us with defense, not offense, and supporting us with ammunitions and aircraft and things like that. Basically, it's only the Americans. So I have a lot of respect to the Europeans, but I'm not calling it for the time being alliance. For military, I'm speaking about military alliance. I'm not speaking about point of view, democracies and things like that. The Europeans are with us completely, and we appreciate tremendously.
Zohar, the name of this operation, and this is a question from, and we have so many questions from the audience, so I'm just going to go straight to the substance without
Go ahead.
going
That's why
to different people. The name of the operation is Rising Lion. Now, the interpretation of that is, of course, relating to the Jewish people and resilience, but there's also an interpretation that this is a message to the Iranian people to rise and revolt. How do you see the internal situation in Iran, and is the name of the operation a part of the messaging to the Iranian people?
I think it's more to messaging. We are not messaging nothing to the Iranians. We're thinking about, first of all, our family and the security of the states of Israel. And the name of the operation, although I didn't choose it, it's speaking about the spirit of the Israelis and what we need to do regarding how to face threats like that. I'm not so sure that this is something so important. Based on my assessment from the Arab Spring, what happened in Egypt, in Syria, in Kuwait, and other places, it's very difficult for intelligence services to understand what the public thinks right now. And still, you have the Basij in the middle of Tehran that is hanging people in the middle of the Iran with cranes, and you have the RGC, and people are still intimidated from this Mulat regime. And maybe in 5 minutes or in 5 days from now, something will happen over there. But this is not, it seems to me that if you asked me before about our strategic goals, I'm not so sure that for the time being, maybe it will change. Maybe if it will continue, maybe if the American will work with us, maybe if the American will push us for that, or we will decide to do it alone. So maybe we will diverse the strategic goal into regime change. But right now, it seems to me that this is not the first priority. The first priority was to focus how to take down the risks and the things that the Iranians are doing regarding their nuclear program and the surface-to-surface missiles.
What accounted for the timing now versus 6 months ago, 6 months from now? There's a lot of messaging coming out of Israel that this was a point of no return, both on the weaponization, but certainly on the ballistic missiles. And say a few words about the extent of the immediacy of the threat to Israel and why we are where we are.
So I don't want to get into it because I have my own opinion, and I'm not sure that everybody of us have the old pictures. And even if I have some question mark regarding this issue, this is not the time to raise it because it's the done deal. We're after it. So it's a post-mortem right now. So I'm not in a position right now to raise question, to criticize this decision. You know, as the Israeli, we know how to criticize ourselves beautifully. Let's give it some times, and then we will see the results of the attacks that we have done and where is the Iranian program. And we will judge the success of this operation based on the fact whether the Iranians have the ability to build a bomb or not, and whether the Iranian will spin to centrifuges advancement right now and to enrich, God forbid, to 90% or not. But it's too soon to get into it, and no doubt that we'll have to deal with it later on. I think that part of it, and this is my personal assessment right now, it's one of the aftershock of October 7. The Israeli understood after October 7 that we are sick and tired that everybody can launch every 5 minutes missiles on Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, or other villages in the north or in the south. We said to ourselves, enough is enough. If somebody wants to mess, go to mess with somebody else, not with us. You're messing with us, we're immediately acting. We have zero tolerance right now to get missiles or rockets against the States of Israel in the middle of the day. And if you ask me, this is part of what we saw right now.
Thank you, Zohar. Please send your questions our way, and we'll keep asking Zohar while he's still awake with us. It's close to midnight in Israel. Zohar, just to widen the lens of the strategic equation that Israel is in right now, given the ongoing situation in Gaza, the hostage problem that still remains with 20 live Israelis still there, do you see the prospects of change on that front as a result of what we're seeing in Iran right now?
I hope that my government, if there will be really, let's say one unit, one fist, American Europeans that will come and will stop this issue with the Iranians and will find kind of a solution, whether it's an agreement or something else. Maybe we can have a linkage between to stop the war in Gaza and to get our hostages back, the 21 that we still have alive, and the remain 35 dead hostages that we still have in Gaza, and maybe to inject more humanitarian aid into Gaza that we need to do it. I think that there is a room over here to work on an equation, how we can deal with these two simultaneously. But as I said at the beginning, I think we need over here the help of the Americans and the main countries in Europe. There is a really, really good chance to do this linkage.
Thank you. The next question has to do. I'm going back to the Europeans because we're being asked about that a lot. We're seeing statements of support, largely in defense. Some countries sort of changed their nuances over the last 24 hours, including the UK, for example, that at first said that it won't defend Israel, then said that it does, recognize Israel's right to defend itself. Do you, in terms of the larger picture here and Israel's relationship with Europe, what should the message be to European leaders right now? What is the opportunity here that they need to seize in order to help Israel change the strategic equation in the Middle East?
I think it's easy. The easy is to tell the Iranian guys, knock it off with your, to change the, let's say, the typical European point of view that used to be in the JCPOA, to let the Iranian to continue to enrich uranium to a military grade. And to do so many, let's say, risky move with calculations, with ballistic missiles, with clandestine site, without inspection of the AI and things like that, I think that the Europeans should stand with the Americans and tell the Iranian enough is enough. And look, it took to the Europeans so long time. Till now, we don't have the snapback. And the snapback is not relevant anymore. Let's do it. Let's take it. Let's seize this moment to something positive. And then the Iranian can come back to be one of the countries that is part of the international community. And not sending proxies, not to Yemen with the Houthis, not to Syria to kill American and Brits, and not to Lebanon with Hezbollah to kill us or Hamas in Gaza. It seems to me that this is an opportunity to have a red light to the Iranians. Whether we will seize the moment or not, this is a question for now.
Where do you see the American administration on this right now? Do you see?
We see that Americans are completely with us. You saw the Trump statements today. It seems to me that Americans are in the game.
Do they want further rounds of negotiations, though?
Yeah, but it's not relevant. The Iranian already booted them. They said we are not coming Sunday to Muscat. And right now, I saw that the Brits offered them like half an hour ago to try to calm things out. And the answer of the Iranian said, no, we are not in the business of closing this issue. So probably we'll continue.
Let's play this out then.
Yeah.
If the Iranians continue to say no, and this continues to unfold over the next days and maybe weeks, does Israel go all the way? Does it ask the United States for different equipment? Do you clean out the bottom of these installations? What's next?
The next is to increase. So far, we've been very accurate. Only military, meaning nuclear facilities and military sites and generals and military people. The Iranian launch against Tel Aviv against civilians. It seems to me that tomorrow or tonight you will see already the escalation.
We have some questions from the audience about the internal situation, and I understand that it's way too early, but there are questions about what incentives should be provided to the Iranian people to rise. What is the sense internally, or is it too soon to tell?
I referred to that a couple of minutes ago. You can't get into the head of millions of people that are living under depression for the last 50 years. They're afraid. They're afraid from the regime. And again, I'm not optimistic. I think we are not there yet. But if it will happen by surprise. Exactly, it used to be like in Egypt or in other places like a decade ago, something like that. People will, from this moment to the other moment, are going to the squares and maybe they will do something. But then again, we don't know how to measure it. We are not investing, not intelligence and not effort right now in order to do it. It's Iran, as I said before, it's a huge country. Israel's size is 68 times inside Iran. Iran is so diverse. It's a huge country from a territorial point of view. We are not there yet.
Question about the Gulf, Zohar, the greater Middle East, the Abraham Accord countries. What is your best assessment about what their policy will be, what they really feel behind the scenes, and what is the extent of the threat to the region, given what you know about Iranian capabilities at this time?
The Iranian have capabilities to hit the Gulf states and American interest, whether it's a CENTCOM in Qatar or whether it's the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain or other places. But the Iranian will have to take a decision whether they want right now to escalate with the Gulf states and the Americans that immediately will go into the game, or whether they will concentrate only with us. It's up to the leader to decide. At the morning, the statesmen were that America is going to take the heat as well. So far, we saw that they are concentrating only with us. It's up to the Iranian to decide. I don't know yet. It seems to me that I'm not so sure that their priority right now is to increase their threats from several levels, from the Gulf states and offer the Americans or the coalition forces that are working with the Americans, like the Brits or the French in Iraq or in Syria and places like that. But let's wait and see. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will know.
Okay, we're going to take a few more minutes. So this is an opportunity for everyone on this call to send us more questions in areas that we may not have covered. We did discuss the internal situation. We discussed the region. Zohar, I wanted to take it maybe a little bit further than where we are at this moment and think into the future. And given the fact that Israel's been at war for 20 months now, the Israeli economy is where it is, the Israeli technology is where it is. 2024 was a year where Israel's defense exports were at a climax. They broke records. The European markets became the majority markets for Israeli defense exports, 54%, according to the latest statistics. Europe is facing its own challenges with Russia, China, internal extremism. How do you see the relationship developing, and where do you believe that ELNET should focus its strategic attention in the years to come, given everything that we know right now?
It's a wide question. First of all, guys, Israel is a democratic country, exactly like the European. This is something that all of us cherish, and we are fighting in the streets in the last 2 years in order to maintain and to keep Israel like that. The most important issue that we will continue to keep open channels all the time with Europe, in security lines, in diplomatic, in the leadership, everything. And it's okay also to criticize and to tell us different opinions, and we're very open to this issue. And the last thing that we need right now is to see initiative of sanctions against the states of Israel, because 60% of the Israelis regarding Gaza, for example, think like the European. And immediately when the Europeans are starting to think about sanctions against us, immediately they're losing the 60%, they're thinking like that. We need to think together in a creative way how we can improve the situation. This is one. Secondly, no doubt that the last 600 and something days and the war with Iran proved something very important. The American, the Israeli, the West, the European technology is superior to any other technology. We have good stuff, and we took down any other technologies down without any problem. The JSF, the F-35s, the F-16, the ammunition, everything. And Europe right now, with the challenges that Europe have, they have over here friends with a lot of experience that can work with them together in order to make Europe and the democratic country is more safe. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for ELNET to be in these issues. This is the main core, open channels about high tech, AI, defense technologies, whatever. We have a lot of ground to operate.
Thank you. Zohar, I'm going to ask you three more questions from our donors. One from Steve Lavin in Chicago. It's a great question. Is there a possibility, does Israel have the capability to take out the majority of the remaining missiles launchers that Iran has given time?
So as you know, sir, we have like an experience, sadly, I'm saying, from Iraq 91. The American have an experience. We have experience from Lebanon. We have experience from Hamas in Gaza in the last 2 decades, and certainly after the October 7. We will take a lot of them, but it's not going to be zero. And it's not something that you can do, like that. It's challenging. Although these these missiles are huge, but in a huge country like Iran, they can hide it in tunnels, in mountains, in alleys. It's not going to be a walk in the park. That's why I think that we should start to think about political solution. Otherwise, it's going to be long and messy.
Another question from Ro Yacobi, great question, about the future of the Iranian nuclear program. Could they expedite, could they accelerate, could they go to a nuclear test now in response? Is that something that we need to be concerned about?
Say again, that they can go to what?
Would Iran accelerate their nuclear program now and go to a nuclear test or as one of the responses?
I don't believe that they have the capability to do nuclear tests right now. They can take a decision to accelerate some of the component, no doubt. For example, to enrich to 90%, they know how to do for days. But based on the how I know the Americans, immediately America, no president will allow to Iran to develop a military nuclear bomb under his time that he's serving in the White House. So if the Iran will do something like that and want to meet the B-2 or the B-52 with the mobs, that would be a move that if they will do, they will pay a price for that.
Thank you. We have a question from our chairman and co-founder, Larry Hochberg and Bob Wolfberg, that are together now in Chicago. The question of China and the fact that Iran exports much of its oil to China. Where do you see the Chinese in this conflict? And maybe a word about the Russians as well.
I think it's an opportunity because, as I said before, if the Iranian will continue this issue, the next thing, the Iranians are not going to have any oil facilities. You think that the Chinese will like it or not? If they want to prevent that it will happen, and I'm not sure that right now the decision is not taken care in the cabinet regarding to take it down, the Chinese can go to the Iranian to put some skin in the game and to tell the Iranian, let's knock it off, and this is it. If not, the oil facilities will go down in a couple of hours, days, and then we'll see the price of the barrel is rising, not close to 67, more to like 90 or 100 or more. It's in the game.
Makes a lot of sense. So I'm inviting everyone on this call to stay with us in the weeks to come. Zohar is always gracious with his time and energy with us. On Monday, we will have an incredible program with the French expert Bruno Tartier, if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's one of the founders of the ELNET Strategic Dialogue going back 15 years, and he's one of the foremost experts in Europe on European foreign policy. So it'll be interesting to hear from him on Monday. Zohar, thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom. Let it be a quiet weekend in Israel, and we will overcome. And as we say in Hebrew, Am Yisrael Chai, you can't end without that. So thank you very, very much. And thank you to everyone for joining us. And be closely in touch. Toda rabba.
Good night. Bye-bye.